Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the Public Works Podcast. My name is Joseph Blackman, and today we got a real treat for you. Her name is Sarah Collins, and she is the Manager of Talent Acquisition and Workforce Development at Pittsburgh Water in beautiful Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sarah, say what's up to everybody.
Hey, Joseph. Thanks so much for having me.
Sure thing, sure thing. Talent acquisition, workforce development, those are my people, those are my humans. So I had to lasso you into the Public Works Podcast. But one thing, if you know me, you know I love titles. So Manager of Talent Acquisition and Workforce Development. We kind of know what that is, but I want you to give us the Sarah Collins 30,000 foot view of what your title is and what you're actually over.
Sure. Yeah. So I manage talent acquisition and workforce development for Pittsburgh Water. We're a public, not-for-profit water utility. And really what it is, it's about building pipelines. It's about creating workforce development programs to help people see themselves in a career in water and just get them interested in the really important work that we're doing every day.
No, for sure, for sure. When you talk about pipelines, there's no pun in that, I'm sure, but it kind of functions the same way. You need to get something from one place to another in an efficient way, in a way where you don't like have any drop off, don't have any wasted efficiency or wasted money. So in regards to a pipeline of getting talent into the industry, I mean, there's so many different places we can go, but I guess what's been working or what have you seen that's been working in the last 6 to 12 months of finding that person who might not know anything about the water industry and saying, hey, you too can be in the water industry?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's really about partnering with the community and community-based organizations and education partners and, trying to figure out what works for them, how we can pipeline individuals into learning about a career in water, whether it's hands-on learning, career exploration, or maybe we're pipelining them into our apprenticeship programs. It's really about just trying to draw them in and get them interested in the work we're doing and the want to come and work in our industry.
For sure, for sure. And then not everybody knows what I guess the lay of the land of Pittsburgh is like. Can you give us again, pipeline? It's a big city, so I've heard. I haven't been to Pittsburgh yet, but what's usually like the numbers that people throw in? Oh, we live around 1 million people. Why can't we get so many people in the industry? Like, what are some of the scope that we're dealing with? Because there's rural listeners right now who have a population of 18,000 to work with.
Yeah, we're a large city. Pittsburgh Water in particular serves about 500,000 people a day. So we provide clean drinking water, stormwater services, and wastewater conveyance to the city and surrounding areas. So, we're working with a large population overall. So, yeah, we're certainly looking for people to come in, be interested in the work we're doing, and hopefully start a career in water here.
For sure, for sure. Let's dive a little bit into Sarah Collins's backstory, into the lore. What makes the sausage of Sarah. Give us your career path. From high school all the way up until today. Kind of tell the listeners what all the stops that you've made on the way, and then kind of what you gain in regards to skill sets to be who you are today.
Sure. High school. My goodness. All right, we won't go back that far.
That's 10 years ago. Stop it.
So my water story actually started back at Arizona State University. I studied geography and GIS and did my senior project on drought in the Phoenix region. I interned with the city of Scottsdale in the sustainable planning department. And I didn't realize it at that time, but that was kind of my first step in my water story in public service, to be honest. Fast forward about 20 years, master's in ed later, and some career transitions. I'm the manager of talent acquisition and workforce development at Pittsburgh Water. And what I love about my role is that I get to blend things that I care about: environmental stewardship, education, workforce development, and really help people see themselves in meaningful careers in water, especially as we prepare them as we prepare for the impending silver tsunami we're always talking about in our industry. So,
Yeah.
yeah, really important work we're doing. I love building strong relationships with the community. I love partnering with our CBOs, education partners, and just providing those unique hands-on experiences with our community members. I just love what I do, and I just really am drawn to that public service and really building a better future for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're 19, 20 years old, you're sitting in a circle with your friends, and everybody's going around saying what they're going to declare their major in. And it gets to you, and you say GIS. Like, kind of talk us through where that decision came from. And then, like, was it a hot topic, or what, why at that time you chose that major?
Yeah, well, it's, primarily geography, but GIS was like cutting edge at that time. So when I went into looking to do a degree I was passionate about, I wanted it to be environmental. I wanted it to have a social component. And then the GIS was really, that data point or the data metrics that you use when making decisions along, the lines of geography and community. So I just found it interesting. I kind of fell into it. Again, I was interning at the city of Scottsdale. So really just kind of took me into this place I am now, which I'm grateful for.
For sure, for sure. We talk about skill sets. Let's say a youngster is in your office, and you're their mentor, and they say, Sarah, what is the main skill set I should pick up to be a successful manager of talent acquisition and workforce development? What would that one skill set be that they should pick up?
Yeah, I really think it's important to be adaptable. Workforce development, as you know, is always shifting. What makes sense today might not the following, and so you really have to be comfortable pivoting and adjusting to things as they change. Another huge piece, and I know you said one, but I'll give you two, is relationship building. A lot of my job is collaborating across departments, partnering with the community, really listening to what their needs are. You have to be able to connect with people. Building trust in the community is paramount, and then considering the long-term goals of the organization is also really important. So those are the two things I would say that are really important to be successful in this role.
Sure, sure. And community trust, that's it's sometimes it could be a sticky subject, but sometimes it could be something that people, get up about. But when we think of some of the like the Flints and the Alabama, like there's a lot of people are starting to go, wait, what is government doing with my tax dollars? What's usually the Sarah Collins way of, like, when you're out in the community, saying, hey, like, we're here to help you. We give 500,000 people fresh water every day. So relax. Like, what's kind of that Sarah Collins attitude and energy?
And yeah, I would just, reiterate my love for public service and, explain to them, the process that goes into providing that service as well, and the people behind that service that's being provided. I'd also say, getting out in the community and meeting people where they are is extremely important when building community trust. And I think as an organization, we're really good at that.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about the silver tsunami. That's one subject that I speak nationally about, and I would say I focus on it from the side of, okay, like, so and so retires, they're of age and they retire. The next person who's going to be in that position or in that department, how can we get them developed quick enough or efficient enough to where they can take over and not have to bump their head on the same things that the person retired bumped their head on. What would you say you've seen, like maybe some processes, maybe some anecdotes, case studies of once you have that workforce in your workforce, how to develop them in that way?
Sure. Well, I'm proud to let you know that we actually got our first state-approved apprenticeship program approved last year, and we have our very first apprentice at Pittsburgh Water now going through an apprenticeship program. And with that in mind, with the silver tsunami happening, with this, gap in knowledge when people are retiring at a rapid rate, we were looking for a way to circumvent that. And bringing in an apprentice is a great way to do that because they're learning on the job, they're taking classes at our union partner in the evening, they're gaining that knowledge in time so that when those retirements do happen, there's not that knowledge gap that we're seeing now. So I think really building apprenticeship programs is key here to stop that knowledge loss and to keep, bringing in individuals that are a part of our workforce development pipeline and getting them excited about a career in water and giving them the opportunity to learn about a position that they might not have had the chance to even interview before that experience. So.
Yeah. A big city, big market like Pittsburgh Water just executed on the apprenticeship program. What do you say to those who are like, man, we're not as big as Pittsburgh, or we don't have the resources, we don't have the warm bodies to be able to put something like this together? What do you say to them to at least start it, but then maybe some ways that they can get that thing across the finish line so they can develop their own pipeline?
Sure. Call me. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'm a team of one in the workforce development side. So I really thought that this was extremely important. It was an application that took months to develop alongside my team. And we were really excited to get that across the finish line and get it approved by the state. So yeah, I think it's just baby steps, even if you don't have a lot of resources, and if you're also just a team of one, it's really just kind of going for it and seeing that light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope that helps.
No, that's cool. I mean, I think a lot of people echo the same sentiment of like, oh, we're understaffed, underfunded, so why even try something new, because it probably won't come to fruition. And if Sarah can do it, they can do it also. For sure.
That's right.
All right. I did a story from Sarah when something went wrong under your watch, what you did to fix it, and then what lessons you learned from it to apply to your future career.
Sure. So I'll share one that has really stuck with me. Early on in my role, I launched a workforce development program that I was sure was going to be a hit, right?
Explain. Yeah.
I mean, I had everything lined up, the partners, the curriculum, staff, timelines, and then it was a flop. It was
a flop?
Well, it just didn't take off the way I had hoped. And the reason being is that we kind of, looking back, the issue wasn't the program itself. It was that we hadn't built it with the community, right? We built it for them, which is not the same thing. Right? We didn't spend enough time listening to barriers, schedules, or what people actually wanted out of a program like that. So, we stepped back, we went out in the communities, we talked to our CBOs, met with partners, and just kind of asked them, what do you need? When can you come? What makes the program feel welcoming and worthwhile? And then we rebuilt it from the ground up based on their feedback. So the next time around, we built a hands-on program for green infrastructure, green infrastructure fieldwork specifically at our GI sites. So participants got to come to our site, gain resume building experience by identifying invasive species, planting water absorbent plants. It really kind of gives them that hands-on resume building skills that are needed, and helps them also see what's possible in this field, and really sparks an interest. You kind of see the light bulb go off sometimes, and that's a wonderful feeling. And it's now one of our strongest, most community-centered pathways for learning and understanding what a career in green infrastructure specifically could look like. And again, we built it with people, not just in a silo. And I think that's really important when it comes to workforce development, is really, reaching across those aisles and trying to develop something that makes sense for not only the organization, but also the community.
Yeah. No, I think, I've seen examples of something being rolled out to the community, or just it could be anybody, but it's something that was came down from upstairs from the ivory tower, and they're like, we never asked for this, or we never wanted it in this way. And it's I applaud you for having that insight of going, ooh, yeah, maybe next time we'll try it a little bit different. What were some of the, not necessarily pushback, but some of the things that people might have said? They're like, oh, next time we'll implement this, because again, somebody might be listening to this show and would want to do like how they have the big hiring events, or the job fair type things, or the programs where you go to certain community centers to find people or find talent. What are some of those anecdotes that you might have ran into?
Yeah, for this program specifically, Joseph. Yeah, so this one, really, our green infrastructure sites are spread across the city. So the biggest one here is a driver's license and reliable transportation. And not everyone has that, right?
Yeah,
so how do we make this attainable, or how do we make this experience, possible for people that might not have that? And so that was the barrier that we recognized really quickly. And so for the green infrastructure experience, we made it like a volunteer day. Come out for the day, learn about a green infrastructure site, what its purpose is, and then, do the hands-on experiences that we offer, so they can get a better understanding. So that was the barrier. That was the issue. And we quickly remedied that.
Thanks for being candid, because a lot of us don't really know that, like, sometimes are things that we never think about are the barriers of entry for some other people. People with checkered backgrounds, checkered history, they come from different walks of life, different socioeconomic walks of life. And we think, oh yeah, they'll be on time, and they'll be earlier on time for the interview, but we don't know they'd had to take 3 buses and and walk 6 miles to get here. So it's having a guy on my show from, I think he's from Philadelphia, in the green infrastructure. You start to hear some of the things that they, the employees or the people they're looking at to come on are going through. And it's again, it's a mind opener. And sometimes I included, don't think about that.
Right. Yeah. So it's really about building that inclusive pipeline, right?
Sure.
And thinking about those things and understanding them to then build an effective program.
Yeah. And it's not that you're lowering the bar and like to diminish the quality of the human, but just you're opening it up to find quality people, even if they do have a checker background, or previous history. So a lot of people say, oh, we're not going to lower the bar. I'm like, dude, you're not lowering the bar. You're just making it easier for people to get in to see the bar. All right. So how does Sarah continue to level up? You've been at this for so many years. You could probably just sit back and do the same thing you did last year. But what's that internal driver inside you that says, I want to do better? And then what do you do actionably to keep putting more information into your brain so you can operate more efficiently?
Yeah, I'm intrinsically motivated. I'm always looking for the next thing. I tried to grow my role on a few different levels. Day to day, it's really about staying connected, right? Checking with my team, other departments to see what's working, what needs support, and where we can strengthen our talent pipeline through programs. On a monthly basis, it's more of a broader workforce ecosystem. I collaborate a lot with regional employers, participate in regional workforce consortium, and stay active in the water community. I serve as a secretary treasurer for the PAAWWA, and I lead Pittsburgh's involvement with the U.S. Water Alliance Water Workforce Task Force, with partners like Land Force, Upstream Pittsburgh, RCI, and Partner for Work. So that's monthly, and then yearly. This year I earned my SHRM CP, which is HR. It's like a human resources certification that I'm really proud of. So I'm always like just going for the next thing. And then I also received the Emerging Leader Award through the Water Now Alliance, which I am just delighted about. So
That's
always just
cool.
reaching for the next thing and
Yeah.
trying to stay current is
Yeah.
really important.
For those out there who are tactical, give us your, I would say, your info diet. Like, where are you getting it from magazines, YouTube videos? Are you watching TikTok for water news and water information? Like, where do you get your information from?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn. I'm very
Mhm.
active on LinkedIn. I read a lot of articles. Really, just kind of being in the water space, you hear a
Yeah.
lot of things about new opportunities, ways to get involved. So nothing really specifically, Joseph. Just trying to always educate myself. I'm a natural educator.
Yeah.
I love to learn, and I love to teach.
Yeah.
So it's just a kind of a natural progression for me.
No, that's cool. That's cool. All right. So you're at a dinner party, right? Of course, the question always comes, "Oh, Sarah, you're really cool. What do you do for work?" And you probably say something like you don't say, "I'm the manager of talent acquisition and workforce development for the for Pittsburgh Water in Pittsburgh." What's kind of your one liner? And then what's usually the biggest misconception? Like, you tell them what you do. What do you think they think?
Sure. As soon as you say talent acquisition, people say, "Okay, I have a aunt, uncle, cousin that's interested in a job at Pittsburgh
Can
Water."
you
Right?
hook them up? Yeah, yeah,
So, I guess the biggest misconception is that, you know, workforce development, talent acquisition isn't just about hiring. It's so much more. It's about strategy, it's about partnerships, it's about long term planning. Most people don't realize how much time I spend in the community, building relationships, speaking at different events, speaking on panels, designing programs, creating pathways, for the future.
yeah,
So it's a lot more than just about filling jobs.
yeah, yeah.
So much more strategic than that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. All right. Let's say you're commissioned to put up a billboard, and this billboard is in the most trafficked area of Pittsburgh. What ask of your community in regards to workforce development would you put on this billboard?
It's a good question. I think my billboard would say something like, protect Pittsburgh's future, step into a career in water, maybe swim into a career in water, still flushing this out. Something like that. And then maybe like
Yeah,
underneath say something like explore careers, apprenticeships, and ways
yeah,
to get involved at Pittsburgh Water. I just don't think as a community, many people understand how many people it takes to keep water flowing safely every day
yeah,
and how many meaningful careers and talented people there are behind this work.
yeah, yeah. No, I echo that. I feel like, public utilities do a terrible job at self-promotion. And I get it. Like, who wants to be patting themselves on the back and say, "Yeah, we serve 500,000 customers every day. We deliver on time. It is 24/7. Never had any issues ever." It's hard to keep, blowing that horn. But what have you seen in regards to just getting the word out of, like, when you turn your faucet, the
Yeah.
water comes out, and like,
Mm.
that's us.
Yeah, turn on your faucet, flush your toilet, like these
Sure.
these things that we take for granted every day. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, again, getting out in the community, providing educational resources,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
really kind of bringing home that there's a whole team behind all of this work.
Yeah.
It doesn't just come out of nowhere,
Yeah.
I think is important. So, yeah, we use a lot of different recruiting methods. My favorite is just being in front of people and being in the community by far. But, you do the social media, Pittsburgh Water Public Affairs Department does a great job getting out in the community, having all sorts of events and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The 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 social media side, like, to be more tactical, are people responding more? Like, let's say you put out a job post, is it going to get picked up like on Indeed, Facebook, Instagram? Like, kind of, where does the influx of inquiries, the majority of them, come from? And then also talk to us I always like to know what type of people are signing up for these. Not type, but like what part of life are they? 19 years old, they just got out of high school, and they're like, I don't want to work at Pet Boys anymore. I want to get a career. Or they're
Yeah.
like 35-year-olds and like, oh, I just had a child, tired of the feast and famine of construction. I want to get something more, more stable. Is it people on their second or third act? They're 50, maybe even 60 years old. And they're like, hey, I just want to have good benefits and do a good job and go home at the end of the day. Like, what's kind of the, what you're seeing, or is it all across the board?
It really is all across the board. I gotta be honest. Our workforce development partners like Trade Institute of Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Gateways, a lot of them are adults seeking employment. So they're from all walks of life. They just want to, have a job that they can retire in and grow in. So a lot of my time is spent speaking with adults and that side of the house of recruiting, and really just getting people interested and educated on the work we're doing. Whereas, the K through 12s, we have something called a Build On event in the Pittsburgh region. It's the largest workforce development event in the region, actually. And 3,500 students, I think, attended last year in October, from all sorts of schools, bussed in just to learn about what they can do with if they went to a trade, or what can they do at Pittsburgh Water. We had our CCTV truck there, showing students about the mapping of the sewer lines, with robots. So the robots were on display, and our staff did a great job of explaining what their day-to-day was like to these students. Yeah, and then we had like our staff built this water meter changing station where students got to interact with it and ask a bunch of questions. It was a really fun day.
Yeah. Yeah. A buddy of mine told me that there's this event coming up in Pittsburgh, and it's going to be a whole bunch of physically fit human beings there. And, for people who are going to be out in the field, you need to be physically fit. And not all of them are going to play at the next level in the NFL. So maybe unsolicited advice, you put a table outside the NFL draft, and you'll probably get some good candidates.
Yep, the NFL draft is coming to Pittsburgh April 23rd to the 25th, and many of us are really excited. Many of us are also wondering where we're going to park during the work week.
Is it going to be that it's not that many people show up to the draft, is it?
Oh wow, yes.
Is it? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the combine. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. The draft is a huge event now. Huge.
It is. And so the city is doing a lot of beautification projects. It's a really exciting time for Pittsburgh, and my shameless plug, go Steelers.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You guys definitely I don't know why you dealt out Najee Harris, but who's your coach now? It's not Mike Tomlin anymore. Right?
I know. I wish I knew. I need to phone a friend for that. I'm not up to date on that. I really enjoy watching them though, for sure.
It's funny. I had on a guy, he's a huge Ravens fan. He can't stand Pittsburgh Steelers, so
yeah,
probably would get along. But Sarah, the most, or a question I always like to ask on the show is, I always like to leave a space for you to thank mentors that you had along your journey. And then also I want you to give a word of inspiration and motivation to your fellow workforce development counterparts across the country.
I had some incredible mentors along the way. People who took the time to guide me, challenge me, remind me why this work matters. And I'm very grateful for those that encourage me to take risks, trust my instincts, and stay grounded. Our leadership at Pittsburgh Water is just tremendous, and I'm not just saying that. Will Pickering, our CEO, is simply put a visionary. And then my department leader, Logan Carmichael, is just incredibly supportive and people-centric. So I can't say enough good things about the leadership here at Pittsburgh Water.
Sure.
Piece of motivation.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it all figured out to make an impact. You're going to fail, but you learn from those failures. You learn from your mistakes. Stay curious, stay open, and say yes to opportunities that stretch you. Like being on a podcast stretches me. But sometimes the path you never imagined becomes the one that feels the most meaningful.
Love it. I mean, that's good for just life in general.
Right.
All right, Sarah, let's say I'm coming to Pittsburgh. Say, Sarah, where can I go to get the best burger in Pittsburgh? Where are you going to send me?
Okay, so if you're coming to Pittsburgh, you have to let me know.
Okay. Well, find parking. We'll go together.
So full disclosure, I'm actually pescatarian. So I'm not out there like crushing giant beef patties like on the regular or anything like that. But yeah. I can tell you that Tesaro's in Bloomfield is amazing.
What is it?
Tesaro's, Tessaro.
Okay.
Yes. It's in Bloomfield. And it's like the burger you dream about after a really long day.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And then
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Something for my, pescatarian, vegetarian friends. The Moonlit Burger has an amazing veggie smash burger option. It's unbelievable. You get the shoestring fries with cheese. That's the way to go.
I might go. I might be transferring to what is it? A Pentecostal?
Pescatarian.
Just joking.
Just eat fish, and vegetables. So,
Yeah, for sure. Well, Sarah, thanks for hopping on the podcast today. Thanks for sharing your wealth of information and knowledge with us. To all the listeners out there, make sure you share this with somebody who you think needs to hear it. Sarah, any final words before we get out of here?
No, I just thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate everyone's time that's listening and your time as well, Joseph. Thank you.
Sure. All right. This has been the Public Works Podcast, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in.